There's an election coming next month, and we're in a series comparing and contrasting the parties and candidates, helping you to understand what's at stake. Last week, we discussed at length the issue of liberty. Would electing Republicans be better or Democrats? We learned that the leadership of the Democrat Party has been taken over by Marxists and Maoists. Just as one small example, Vice President Harris was raised by an admitted Marxist economist. Even Snopes gave that a fact-check true. And Washington Post calls her out for her promotion of price controls as being communist. Add to that her stances on reparations, fracking, and decriminalization, and her policies look remarkably close to the 45 goals of Communist Party USA. Now, they're trying to scrub her record, and she keeps changing positions while she claims holding the same values. It's a cynical attempt to rewrite the history of being labeled one of the most liberal senators to the left of socialist Bernie Sanders. Tim Walz also has Marxist-Maoist ties, having taught students on the virtues of socialism and distributing copies of Chairman Mao's Little Red Book. Like Harris, Walz has an obvious communist track record in both statements and votes. By contrast, Trump is an avowed capitalist. When we compared the liberty track record, there's little question that Trump wins. But you have to look past some mean tweets and tune out that obvious media bias against him. You wouldn't know it, but he was nearly assassinated on live TV. They've hidden that. The media has produced reports that are 84% sympathetic to Harris and 89% negative towards Trump. They're in this full throttle, and that alone should give you pause. Your liberties would suffer in a Harris administration unless you're an insider and fellow traveler promoting Marxism and the destruction of the traditional family. We've proven that Harris would be bad for your liberty and the economy. But how would she stack up against Trump in regard to security? Join me in the Economic War Room, where you will learn how your choice in this election will impact your future. This is the second of a three-part series titled, What's at Stake? Today, we're talking about your security. Security is a powerful word from the Oxford Dictionary. It means the state of being free from danger or threat. Security is one of the most important and most legitimate roles of government. No one wants to live in a dystopian world with a zombie apocalypse or Thunderdome or water world where it's every man for himself. That's why we fund our military and police forces, to keep the peace, to keep Americans from danger or threat, to provide security. We're not talking about bank bailouts or wealth redistribution or guaranteeing equity rather than equal opportunity. The founders' view of security was rather simple. Protect the borders, win the wars that have to be won to protect America, protect private property rights, and protect individuals' rights to personal liberty. Quoting Benjamin Franklin, "Those who give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." There's a recent argument as to what he meant by that quote, so I looked it up to get the context. First, it's about safety, which has a security component but is much broader. Security at home would be about making certain your house wasn't robbed or invaded. Safety could encompass whether or not you might slip in the bathtub. A home security system does not mean non-slip tubs. But yet, Franklin's quote was in a letter that dealt with taxation and armies. He was making the point that to be 100% safe, you could tax away everyone's property to fund an all-powerful army. But you would have no liberty, and your safety would be short-lived. Put in another context, you can guarantee all investing is safe, but without some risk, there's no possibility of returns. So should the government have prevented settlers from moving westward for their own temporary safety? Of course not. But the government did have a role in providing Western cavalry units to enhance security. Consider the Buffalo Soldiers, mostly black American Army units created by the Congress in 1866 after the Civil War. Quoting the Smithsonian, the Buffalo Soldiers' main duty was to support the nation's westward expansion by protecting settlers, building roads and other infrastructure, and guarding the U.S. mail. I'm pretty certain they weren't doing safety inspections, but they were tasked with security. And this takes us back to Franklin's quote. There is a legitimate role of government in providing security, but it should not be at the expense of economic or personal liberty.